Every heartbeat and every moment you felt that sound, every word you speak, every teardrop and all the rhythms you got to get to know, all your broken dreams. In the digital age where everyone's like taken on by the mania of like social media and such, this is like the first generation that can craft and shape how people perceive us and how we're viewed. The pernicious nature of it is that like, oh, can we just create the perfect thing? Can we just have the perfect relationship? We have the perfect connection somehow. And what gets left out many times is conflict, disagreements. The Gottman Institute is an institute that does a lot of work with relationships and intimacy and whatnot. And Gottman himself talks about how one of the greatest ways to create intimacy is through conflict. Healthy conflict actually creates and cultivates deep intimacy. And healthy, not unhealthy conflict. Truly, it's taking in all the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's the thing that actually makes a relationship stand the test of time and being able to move through those things. And so being able to have that whole experience, a completely holistic, real experience, as opposed to just the digital, oh, let's make everything ones and zeros and make everything perfect. You were looking for a lighthouse. I was looking for the ocean. You were looking for a lighthouse, and what we found was true. In my own life and in my own relationships, I find it really funny how many times the best ones, and specifically with my wife now, there's like this back and forth, and at least in for my own self, in my own experience, there's this really interesting thing that happens when we're both looking for something different and find that different thing in each other. And I've like had that happen, and it's an incredible feeling. I really don't think there's much more to say on it. It's kind of a special thing. I'm only human and I'm looking for love. We both bleed red. So often, it's funny because in intimate relationships, like the saying goes that opposites attract. But it's so funny that at a more global level, whether it be race, whether it be religion, whatever the hell it might be, people seem to get really, really bent out of shape when there are actual opposites and opposite ideologies. And I think many times when people say things like, well, if you look at like Christianity and atheism and whatnot, and it's like these two things that are pitted against each other, instead of going, there's like some very logical, like important questions being asked here, and vice versa. There is no back and forth when there actually should be. And I think that both things actually get better and stronger when that dynamic is allowed to flourish. All your questions and everything that we think we got to know, all your science sees, all those memories, because everything is connected, don't you know? It's such a mystery to me. A few years ago, I read a book by Carlo Rovelli called 7 Brief Lessons on Physics. And what was so interesting to me at the end of the book was that he talked about wonder and awe and mystery, and how science is this constant kind of like dancing with mystery and wonder and finding things out. And there's always, and then many times when you find things out and you find out these laws of the universe, whatever they may be, that there's actually way more that we don't know. And to me, what was so fascinating about that is I think that many times people treat science as this, like, there's no mystery, there's no awe, there's no wonder, but there actually is like so much more, and there's so much excitement. So I don't know who's been trying to gallivant around saying that, trying to spread that type of nasty rhetoric, but it's just not true. And I think in relationships too, there's a massive, the more that we find out, the more that I learn, the more that I experience when I meet people and stuff, the more that I realize I don't know. And there's either a response of fear to that, or there's a response of excitement, and an excitement to get to know other people and,